The Ark of the Covenant was very special. It was not just a physical object, but a profound symbol of faith and divine presence. The Ark held immense significance for the Israelites, representing their unique relationship with God. It was a wooden chest covered with gold, crafted with meticulous care and reverence. The gold covering signified its sacred nature and the divine glory it embodied. Inside were the 2 tablets of the 10 Commandments, inscribed by the finger of God himself. These tablets were the foundation of the covenant between God and his people, outlining the laws they were to live by. It represented God's presence and his covenant with the Israelites. The Ark was a constant reminder that God was with them, guiding and protecting them through their journey. The Philistines were the enemies of the Israelites. They often clashed in battles with the Ark, sometimes being brought to the battlefield as a symbol of divine support and assurance of victory. The Philistines did not believe in the God of Israel. Instead, they worshipped their own gods and idols, which often led to conflicts and misunderstandings between the 2 groups. The Ark was kept in the Holy of Holies, the most sacred part of the tabernacle. This inner sanctuary was a place of utmost sanctity, where the divine presence was believed to dwell. Only the high priest could enter this place, and only once a year, on the Day of Atonement. This annual event was a solemn occasion marked by rituals of purification and atonement for the sins of the people. The Ark was a symbol of God's power and holiness. It was revered and feared as it was believed to carry the very essence of God's presence and authority. It was a reminder of God's promise to be with his people. The Ark of the Covenant stood as a testament to the enduring faith and devotion of the Israelites, a sacred treasure that connected them to the divine. The Philistines and the Israelites were at war. The Philistines were winning. The Israelites thought bringing the Ark of the Covenant into the battle would help them win. This was a mistake. The Philistines captured the Ark. They took the Ark to their city, Ashdod. They placed it in the temple of their god, Dagon. They thought their God was stronger than the God of Israel. This was a grave disrespect to the Ark and to God. The next morning, something strange happened. The statue of Dagon had fallen down. It was lying face down before the Ark of the Lord. The Philistines were shocked. They put the statue back in its place. The next day, the same thing happened. This time, the statue was broken. Its head and hands had broken off. Only the body remained. The Philistines realized that the power of the God of Israel was real. The Philistines who had captured the Ark started getting sick. It began with a few individuals, but soon the illness spread rapidly throughout the community. The once bustling streets were now filled with the sounds of suffering and despair. They developed tumors, which were very painful. The affliction was unlike anything they had ever experienced before. The pain was excruciating, and there seemed to be no cure or relief in sight. The Philistine city of Ashdod was struck with a plague. The people suffered greatly. The Philistines were afraid. The fear of the unknown gripped the city, and the once proud inhabitants were now reduced to a state of panic and helplessness. They decided to send the Ark to another city, Gath. They hoped that by moving the Ark, they could rid themselves of the curse that had befallen them. The journey was long and arduous, but they were desperate for a solution. But the same thing happened there. The people of Gath were struck with the same devastating illness. The plague showed no mercy, and the suffering continued unabated. People got sick and died. The death toll rose, and the once vibrant city was now a place of mourning and sorrow. The Philistines were at a loss for what to do next. The Ark was then sent to Ekron, but the people there also suffered from the plague. The cycle of suffering seemed endless, and the Philistines were left questioning the power and significance of the Ark they had captured. They did not know what to do with the Ark. They consulted their priests and diviners. They were told to send the Ark back to Israel with a guilt offering. The offering was to be 5 golden tumors and 5 golden mice. These represented the tumors and mice that were plaguing the Philistines. The tumors were probably boils or swellings. They were a painful and humiliating punishment. Although the story in 1 Samuel chapter 5 focuses on the Ark of the Covenant and the Philistines, it also points towards Jesus. The Ark, a sacred chest that held the tablets of the 10 Commandments, was central to the Israelites' worship and symbolized God's presence among his people. When the Philistines captured the ark, it was a devastating blow to Israel, much like the betrayal and arrest of Jesus was to his followers. Just as the ark was wrongly captured, Jesus was falsely accused and condemned. The ark's capture led to great turmoil and suffering, mirroring the anguish and despair felt by Jesus' disciples and followers during his trial and crucifixion. The parallels between the ark's journey and Jesus' path to the cross are striking and profound. The suffering of the Philistines foreshadows the consequences of rejecting Jesus. The plagues and afflictions that befell the Philistines serve as a stark reminder of the spiritual and moral decay that comes from turning away from God. This narrative underscores the importance of faith and obedience to God's will. The actions of the Philistines, desperately trying to escape God's judgment by moving the Ark of the Covenant from one city to another, bear a striking resemblance to the way the chief priests sought to shift responsibility for Jesus' fate. They brought him to Pontius Pilate, hoping he would deliver the judgment they desired, but Pilate, initially reluctant and recognizing Jesus' innocence, sought to release him. Both stories highlight human attempts to evade accountability when faced with divine truth and justice, illustrating the futility of trying to escape the sovereignty of God. The Philistines' attempt to appease God with offerings prefigures the sacrifices made to atone for sin. Despite their efforts, the Philistines could not escape God's judgment, highlighting the futility of trying to earn redemption through human means. This sets the stage for the ultimate sacrifice that Jesus would make on behalf of humanity. However, true atonement would come only through Jesus Christ. His sacrificial death on the cross was the fulfillment of God's plan for salvation, offering a path to reconciliation and eternal life for all who believe. Jesus' prayer in the Garden of Gethsemane and his unwavering commitment to God's will exemplify the depth of his love and obedience. The return of the ark to Israel symbolizes the hope of redemption and restoration that Jesus offers to all who believe in him. Just as the ark's return brought joy and renewal to the Israelites, Jesus' resurrection brings hope and new life to believers. This powerful imagery reminds us of the enduring promise of God's presence and the transformative power of faith. Are you ready for the next chapter? Just click here to go straight to it.